welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. Residents of Chateaubelair and Fitzhugh are expected to start returning to their homes from Friday, July 23rd, 2021, almost 3.5 months after the explosive eruption of La Soufrière. However, on radio today, Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves said an exception has been made for parents who have a child writing the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, or CPEA, scheduled for Tuesday, July 27th.
For some families who have children who are doing the CPEA, because the CPEA there on the 27th and 28th. So we'd allow those to remain in now until they finish the exam. They can go on the 29th. We have to be flexible with these things, you know, Johnny P.
Yes, Prime Minister.
And in a very practical manner, because some of the parents quite rightly raised the concern, and Curtis King, the Minister of Education, raised it with me, and I said that's fine.
The Prime Minister said that it is understandable that it has not been easy for the displaced students and that moving them a few days before their exam would not be wise.
You know, a few days don't really matter in the circumstance. We got to make the children be in a good frame of mind to do their best in the exams. They already have had so much dislocation, because to move you out on the 23rd as a 11-plus child, and to be going back in somewhere where you hadn't been for 3 months.
Yes.
And by the time Monday come in, you know, you're preparing for your exam the Tuesday to Wednesday. You know, it's not. So we will work with that.
The cleanup exercise in Chateaubelair and Fitzhugh is in progress, and according to Prime Minister Gonsalves, it will be completed in time for persons to fully reoccupy the two leeward communities, noting that approximately 500 persons are expected to return in the coming days. As La Soufrière volcano continues to remain quiet, the monitoring team is said to be making progress with the collection of data from the signal stations. Given an update on the volcano on radio this morning, lead monitoring scientist Dr. Uracilla Joseph said they are expected to conduct work in Fancy today.
So today, I'm actually the backseat person. I'm accompanying Dr. Karen Pascal, who's MPO. She's here as a ground defamation specialist, and she's headed into Fancy. We're being accompanied by the SMU to collect and retrieve ground defamation data from one of our sites in Fancy.
Dr. Joseph said that she has witnessed firsthand the cleaning of volcanic ash in North Leeward, which is commendable.
From what I've seen, essentially the area in Chateaubelair here has been tremendously cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real evidence of, you can see some of the evidence of the ash, but in terms of the general cleanliness, and will be done, it's clean, it's workable, we're going to be ability for Sunday and fine.
The president of the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly, His Excellency Volkan Bozkır, will travel to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Antigua and Barbuda, and Barbados from July 22nd to the 28th. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the president is expected to meet with Governor General Her Excellency Dame Susan Duggan, Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves, as well as cabinet members. The president will then embark on a mission drive to the red and orange zones of the La Soufrière volcano. The president of the General Assembly's trip to the Eastern Caribbean, his first to the small island developing states, will highlight the structural and developmental challenges affecting these member states, as well as their efforts to innovate and build resilience whilst fulfilling their development priorities. One particular focus of this trip will be the importance of investment in sustainable tourism and the blue economy, which will enable small island developing states to build back better following extreme climate events. The socio-economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic and in the case of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the recent volcanic eruption. This trip will mark the first visit of the sitting president of the General Assembly to SVG and Barbados. Residents in North Leeward communities have been the recipients of various forms of support from a 12-member team shepherded by the Grenadian Theological Institute. Director John Lewis, speaking with SVG-TV News, said the group has been assisting in the ash cleanup efforts, which is still a major problem in those areas. He said they have also been working along with persons from Logos Hope to distribute food packages, water, and provide eyeglasses to those in need, with over 500 persons in Trumuka and surrounding communities receiving a prescription lenses on Saturday.
So we brought a team of 12 persons from Grenada, and we have been working in the Chateaubriand area. We have been in Pidibodel, in Trumuka, in Rose Hall, and the surrounding areas. Actually doing cleaning of ash and debris in those areas, in different churches and in individual homes as well. And so we're hoping that out of this, that people get back to some life of normalcy in the communities in that part of the island. So we're working with Logos Hope, Operation Mobilization, who has been here for a couple of months now, I believe. And so we are participating in their work in the shelters and community projects, providing hope and materials, physical materials. They're distributing food items, water, and other supplies. They are providing reading glasses.
So we had over 500 persons who receive eyeglasses in Trumuka from different villages across the North Leeward side of the island.
Speaking on the feedback from persons in the various communities, the director of the Grenadian Institute for Theological Studies said persons were grateful for the support, especially for the access to power washers and other tools needed to rid their homes of volcanic ash.
We have been really encouraged and grateful because of the equipment that we're able to bring in, all the power wash machines and shovels and barrows and all the wheelbarrows. We were able to provide a kind of help that they do not have the ability to do on their own. Because in some cases, ash was still like 3 feet in some of these places. And so we have the manpower that came in from Grenada alongside some of our folks from Logos Hope, who did like final mopping up and sweeping and the lighter work. So they were very appreciative of the work that we have come in to do and to help them in these communities and to help provide the other necessary things that they felt that were sort of missed out on. I know other organizations are helping as well. So this was just another part of to help with the different layers of needs in the communities as well.
Lewis noted that while the explosive eruptions of La Soufrière volcano seem to have ceased, there is still much to be done to assist the country and those who have been displaced.
Effort is really to partner with our Vincentians and the communities, the churches, and many people are involved, as you mentioned. But as part of our initiative from the Grenada Institute, we are happy that we could be here and to have an eyeball. Very often the news do not give us all information after the huge eruption. So things have been quiet in the media. So we're hoping through this medium that people will be aware that there's still a lot of work to be done. When we travel across those areas in particular, and when we see the videos from other parts of the country, we want to encourage people not to just forget about St. Vincent, because this is a long haul, and we anticipate that it will take perhaps a couple of years or even more for the restructure of the nation. And so we encourage people to continue to give. Come, if you can, with a team of volunteers because the demand is still great in this nation.
Lewis also appealed to other organizations and churches to offer assistance in whatever way possible to persons dealing with the trauma and the aftermath of the volcanic eruptions, especially those who are still in shelters. The 12-member team of volunteers will return to Grenada tomorrow. However, Lewis said they hope to be back in the near future, where efforts will be focused on affected communities in the northern part of the island. And the District Grand Lodge of Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, a DGLBEC, has made an initial donation of $5,000 in foodstuff, water, clothing, and other supplies to the ongoing disaster relief efforts on the ground. They have also offered to support the rebuilding efforts expected in due course. Following the eruption of La Soufrière volcano in April 2021, the Freemasons lodges regionally and internationally have expressed their solidarity with the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in its commitments to provide relief to displaced persons, and they have pledged their wholehearted support to the relief efforts. Trevor Thompson, a member of the fraternity, said they have conducted their own research and have decided to offer relief in 3 phases. The first phase being the assistance given to displaced persons while they were in shelters. The second phase includes donation distribution to persons in the orange and red zones to assist with a cleaning up exercise. And the third phase would be assistance to reconstruction and to restoration and reconstruction of homes damaged during the volcanic eruptions. Thompson said sister lodges internationally and regionally are already making contributions to assist Nemo and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines with reconstruction projects. The check of US $5,000 was presented to immediate past president of the Rotary Club of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Mark. 3 new COVID-19 positive cases were reported from 172 samples processed on Monday, July 19, 2021, resulting in a positivity rate of 1.7%. A 1-year recovery was noted over the reporting period. 56 cases are currently active and 12 persons with COVID-19 have died. 2,266 cases of COVID-19 and 2,198 recoveries have been recorded in St. Vincent and the Grenadines since March 2020. The health authorities say persons who persist in incorrect or no mask use, remain unvaccinated, and participate in mass gatherings will continue to be at risk for being infected and spreading COVID-19, and that to reduce the spread of COVID-19 and SVG, compliance with the protocols including effective use of masks, physical distancing, and the evidence-based recommendations to be vaccinated with the available vaccines is strongly recommended. British-born lawyer Janita Hadley has been granted a consent agreement which will enable her to leave the States voluntarily by July 29, 2021, without police accompaniment or deportation order reflected in her passport. Speaking with SVG-TV News in a telephone interview, Hadley said she no longer has a desire to remain in SVG given her experience. She noted that she initially defied immigration orders to leave as she had been misinformed about the procedures.
My residency application was denied in 2 weeks. I was informed it's a 6 to 8 week process. It was denied in 2 weeks without even stating a reason as to why it was denied. The reason why I stayed here past the 27th of May is because I had the belief with regards to the extension and the residency working together. That doesn't apply in St. Vincent, but in other Caribbean countries, when you've applied for a residency, it's an automatic extension. And I was seeking legal advice from an overseas Caribbean lawyer, and he didn't didn't tell me this is the law of St. Vincent, but he said, I believe that this is the law. And so that was why I remained here. I want that to be made clear. I remained here because I believed that I could stay until the decision, which was meant to be 8 weeks, it was denied in 2 weeks. And to be honest with you, after everything that has happened, I have no desire to apply for residency or to remain in St. Vincent.
SVGTV News also spoke with one of the lawyers representing Ms. Headley, Jomo Thomas, who confirmed the judgment in her appeal. Thomas shared why he and his colleague Mia Eustace got involved in Headley's case.
I got into the case, and I can speak to Ms. Eustace's decision to get into the case as well, because there came a time when state officials went where Ms. Headley was staying, picked her up, jailed her, and attempted to remove her. When they made the attempt to remove Ms. Headley was taken to court. Ms. Headley told the court that she had an attorney. In fact, she mentioned my name, she mentioned Maia's name, and the removal proceedings went on without the court taking the time to verify whether indeed Ms. Headley had legal counsel. And because she was denied that process, both Ms. Eustace and I decided that we would try to stop her deportation, and an appeal was filed. And even after the appeal was filed, state officials tried to deport her before the appeal was heard. And it was on that basis that we decided to file, asking the court for an injunction to prevent her removal.
Headley says she plans to leave St. Vincent in a few days. Courses offered at the Wales University will be extended for Vincentian students applying for a scholarship from the university. So said Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves while giving an update on the scholarships being offered to 55 Vincentians. The Prime Minister said the extensions will allow students to choose from a broader set of courses offered by the university, and adjustments will be made accordingly.
So we have gotten the course offerings extended. So you will have a wider range of offerings. And where originally the students were to be on, would be educated on one campus, they will still, I've been advised that they'll still reside at the one campus, but they'll have course offerings at 2 other campuses.
Okay.
And they'll be transported there. It's not. So the accommodation, I've been advised, would be on one campus, but you're likely to be at 3 different campuses. I mean, students now, depending on the offerings.
The Prime Minister noted that Cabinet Secretary Katian Barnwell is one of the persons interfacing with the University of Wales, and reported to him that the interest by Vincentian students to pursue studies at the university has been laudable. He said some persons have already applied for the scholarships, and the government will see how best they can help.
Already the university said that Vincentians, as a result of the Vincentians who didn't know about, or it wasn't in their focus, University of Wales, Trinity St. David, have actually themselves gone and applied to go to the university to make their own arrangements if necessary, because they like the thing so much. But naturally to get assistance from the state. But we will there'll be a good package in the scholarship. And I think that when the details are made known, I think students are going to be pleased.
For public servants who wish to pursue studies at the Wales University, the Prime Minister said that provisions will be made for them to do so without losing their job.
Naturally, those persons who are public servants would be in an even better position, because once they're eligible for study leave, and they do get study leave, we have generous study leave. The first year we pay your salary, your full salary, if it's an approved program, and the second and third year you get half salary. Right. So the leave terms in St. Vincent, which we have fashioned, and we are quite generous with the leave, usually, because the education revolution is a very strategic objective.
40 of the 55 scholarships are for a full-time undergraduate degree program and 15 for the master's program to be done online. The courses are expected to start in October. Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves has expressed sadness at the passing of Vincentian soca and calypso icon Winston Soso, who passed away on Sunday. The Prime Minister, who was on radio, said that he had made contact with the cultural ambassador before his passing, and he gave personal condolences to his family on behalf of the government of SVG.
God, man, the thing, I feel it. You know, I love this man singing. I've met him on different occasions. Since he was sick, I spoke to him. And it's a big loss. It's a big loss. It's a big, big loss. And thank God we have his music to remember him by. We have his works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as a humble man, he was, you know, I'm just so sorry. So sorry. Yes, and all condolences to his family from the government and people of St. Vincent and Grenadines and from me personally.
Winston Soso passed away at age 69 from complications of kidney failure. In other news, the Organization of American States, OAS, has made a significant donation to the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Administrative assistants at the local office of the OAS in Kingstown, Diana Brown, handed over a marking machine for small and light firearms to Commissioner of Police Colin John. The donation was done on behalf of the General Secretariat of the Organization of American States. During the handing over ceremony, Brown explained that the firearms marking machine was being donated under the special OAS program called a Comprehensive Action Against Small Arms and Light Weapons, which is a part of the project counteracting the illicit proliferation and tracking of small arms, light weapons and ammunition, and their impact in Latin America and the Caribbean. Brown said the donation demonstrates the commitment of the OAS and the General Secretariat to support and strengthen all member states in capacities in different areas, especially public security and firearms. On receiving the equipment, Commissioner of Police Colin John thanked the OAS on behalf of the members of the RSVG Police Force and the government and people of SVG for the timely donation. The Commissioner noted that security is at the center of the OAS mandate. Thus, the firearms marking machine will significantly enhance the RSVG Police Force capability in tracing and in the fight against trafficking in small and light weapons. The Commissioner also noted that the equipment does not only help to prevent crimes, but it can tend to the successful prosecution and conviction of offenders. Police have arrested and charged Winston Enville Parsons, a 32-year-old laborer of Penniston, with the offense of possession of a prohibited firearm and possession of unlicensed ammunition, and a 32-year-old landscaper, Joel Barker, also of Penniston, with the offenses of possession of controlled drugs and drug trafficking. A news release from the Police Relations and Complaints Department said officers working at the Mesquite Police Station responded to a distress call by a vessel that was stranded at sea and was later towed to the Mesquite Wharf by security personnel. The police made inquiries and conducted a search on the occupants and the vessel. The search resulted in the discovery of a 5.56 Zastra Sabita AK-47 pistol, along with 67 rounds of 5.56 ammunition and 1,632 grams of cannabis. As a result, Winston Enville Parsons was subsequently charged with having a prohibited firearm in his possession without authorization of a minister, possession of 67 rounds of 5.56 ammunition without a license issued under the Firearms Act, while Joel Baker was charged with possession of 1,632 grams of cannabis with intent to supply it to another, and possession of 1,632 grams of cannabis for the purpose of drug trafficking. Both men appeared before the Serious Offences Court today and pled guilty to the charges. Winston Enville Parsons was sentenced to 4 years, 9 months in prison for possession of a prohibited firearm and 15 months in prison for possession of ammunition without a license. Both sentences would run concurrently. Joel Barker was fined $1,530 for possession of controlled drug, to be paid by August 31st, or 5 months in prison, and $1,800 for drug trafficking, to be paid by August 31st, or 6 months in prison.